Right, good morning, everybody. I hope none of you have got sore heads from the cocktails and the wine last night. There were some enjoyable drinks. I'll try not to speak too loud this morning for anyone nursing a headache. Thank you for all coming to join my session today. We're going to talk about cold calling and social selling. So bringing together traditional sales, modern digital sales, the sort of ultimate sales strategy. Who am I? My name is Daniel Disney. I'm not related to Walt Disney. Before anyone asks, I have to say this in every single talk that I do. The joys of a quirky surname. I'm ultimately a salesperson. I've worked in sales all of my life. It was the first job I had at 16 years old, and I left full-time employment as head of sales for a business-to-business training company about a year and a half ago. I come from a traditional sales background, but started to utilize LinkedIn and social media about 7 years ago, and it really opened sort of my eyes to the changing landscape that is sales. Just to give you a bit of a background as to why I'm here talking and what I have achieved over the last few years in the world of sales and social selling. I've got an audience of over 500,000 LinkedIn followers, 55,000 that follow me personally, growing by about 10,000 new followers every single month. Written loads of blogs. My content reaches lots of people. I've generated a lot of revenue that's come directly from social media. I've achieved quite a lot over the last few years, but I'm here talking to you about social media, talking to you about social selling, but I want to share something with you because for a lot of you, hopefully this is something you'll connect with. I actually used to hate social media. I'm not someone who was kind of born into it. I wasn't someone who used it a lot when I was younger. I think I was 16 years old when Facebook first came out. And by that point, I sort of lived my younger years without social media. I didn't need it. For me, social isn't something that was a massive part of my younger years. And even then, in my early sales career, I was knocking on doors. I was making cold calls. Social media wasn't a part of sales. The only thing that got me into social media was when I realized I could use it to sell. And a big part, I think, does the sound keep coming in and out? I kind of hear like it is. Let me know if the sound cuts. The biggest thing came to me was when LinkedIn started to grow massively. And suddenly there was this social media network that had my customers, my colleagues, my prospects, and it was a platform I could use to find them, research them, connect with them, and start conversations with them. And as soon as I found that social media could help me sell, that's where it got interesting. What I'm going to teach you today, what I'm going to talk through today, is how you can use social media to sell. But I want you to appreciate that at some point, no idea what to do. I had generated no income through social media. I didn't know what to do. I don't come from a background in social media. I might not need this actually. I could probably speak loud enough without it if it keeps cutting out. It's okay, cool. If it annoys you, let me know, we'll take it off, it's fine. So what is social selling? There's a big sort of question around what it is, what does it mean? A lot of people think it's here to replace traditional sales techniques. There are a lot of salespeople that think they can hide behind LinkedIn, never have to make a cold call today, and still be able to hit their targets. Now, I'm not here to tell you that, so if you're hoping I'm going to tell you you don't have to make cold calls, unfortunately, that's not my message. Social selling is when you use social media to sell. But the way it works best is alongside the other tools. So it's not just about using social media to sell, it's about using it alongside other tools like phone, like email, like text, like video, and that list is ever growing. There's a big debate in sales, cold calling versus social selling, something I've been sort of debating for years, and the reality is that it should never be a choice. You don't have to sit there and choose, do I cold call this prospect or do I research them on LinkedIn? You do them both. And later on in my session today, I'm going to show you how you can use them together to get the best possible results. One of the best ways I like to illustrate this, and this is an important message within this, there are so many tools that we have now to prospect and reach our customers. When I started in sales, there were probably half of these tools. And before that, even fewer tools. We literally had a phone. It wasn't that long ago, that was the only way we could reach a prospect, phone or face-to-face. Obviously, fax came involved, then email came involved, then the internet. Now we have social media, we've got networking. The list is ever growing. And the way I like to illustrate it is those wonderful little finger mazes, those finger puzzles you have. You get 2 or 3 doors going in, one leads to the middle, all the others lead to dead ends. And it's what I've sort of doodled up as the modern day sales prospecting maze. Each and every one of your prospects and customers, even you as consumers, sit within your own maze. All your prospects sit within a maze. And we each have different preferences. So some of your prospects, the only way to reach them is to go through that cold door. The phone is their preferred method of communication. They're not on LinkedIn, they're not on Facebook, they're not on Instagram. Their email inbox is full up with junk. Pick up the phone and call them, and you'll get to speak to them. But others, they don't like the phone. They're more active on social media, and actually it's more effective to communicate with them via that platform. Everyone is different, and we each have different preferences. There's no right or wrong. No one's better or worse for using the different ones. It's our own choice. I'll give you a prime example of this. 2 weeks ago, I won a B2B client through Instagram. They have my phone number. They have my email address. We're connected on LinkedIn. We're even connected on Facebook. But the platform they choose to talk to me was Instagram. That was their preferred method. They didn't want to pick up the phone and call me. They didn't want to email me. That was how they wanted to talk to me. And as a salesperson, my job is to go where they want to go, to talk on the platform they want to talk at. And that's what sales is now. And this list is ever growing. Suddenly you've got things like video coming in and salespeople using video messages through email and social media to start conversations. Our role as salespeople and businesses is to adapt, evolve, and make sure we're using as many of these as possible. It's the only way. If you imagine each one of those is like a little pool of fish. If you're only fishing in one of them or 2 of them, that's all you're going to be able to catch. But there are lots of other pools of fish full of juicy prospects that could be amazing sales opportunities, amazing customers sitting in these different platforms. The key is using as many as possible. It's growing your toolkit to include as many of them as possible. Understandably, a lot of people are scared of the tools. We're all scared of change. Think about the first time you picked up the phone. Think about the first cold call you made. How scary was that? I remember my first call. Oh, it was horrible. I think I was literally shaking. It was terrible. It was the same the first time I sent a LinkedIn message, the same first email I sent out, the same first face-to-face meeting I had. Doing new things is scary. And unfortunately, for a lot of salespeople and businesses, that fear holds us back. Sales managers are scared to encourage their salespeople to use those tools because they don't know them. But are you going to let that fear hold you back? Some salespeople are scared to pick up the phone, I'll admit it. Certainly more prevalent in younger generations. Some of you may have younger sales teams or younger salespeople coming in. They may be scared to pick up the phone. And a big part of that's going to have an impact in sales in the future because these younger generations that are scared of the phone will soon be your customers. Which is why it's even more important to adapt to the platforms they prefer to communicate in. I always love this little sort of humorous quote, sales manager saying, give them a call. And the young sales rep saying, I've emailed them. Sales manager, but it'd be quicker if you pick up the phone and call them. But I've texted them as well. Just call them. I'll send another email. And this is the state of a lot of salespeople today. They don't want the phone. Now, I'm here telling you that some customers don't want to be phoned either. But there are a lot of customers that do. And it's important as salespeople and as sales managers, we guide our sales reps to overcome those fears. But on the equal sort of flip end, there are salespeople that are scared to use social media. No, I'm not going to waste time writing a blog. I don't have time to post on social media. It's pointless sending messages on LinkedIn. No one's going to reply. And so they'll sit there and they'll just make calls all day because that's what they know, that's what they've done for the last 10 years, and it's worked in the past. But you're going to struggle to reach new, fresh opportunities. And this is the message I want to really install in everyone. If you work in sales, you're a salesperson. That's your job. Your job is to sell. Your job is to go out and find customers. The best way you're going to do that is to use all of the tools that are out there to find, create, and close sales opportunities. In the modern landscape, that now includes social media. And like I said, that list is growing. So let's focus a little bit on social media and social selling, because another one of the big confusions in it is the difference between outbound and inbound. Now, social media is traditionally associated with inbound lead generation. It's seen as a marketing platform. You put a blog out, people come to your website, they fill in an inquiry form, boom, you've got an inbound lead. And there are a lot of salespeople and businesses that view social media purely as a marketing inbound tool. And it is an amazing inbound lead generation tool. Salespeople, we're outbound sellers. So we go out, we hunt, we find, we create, we start the conversations. We don't wait for people to come to us. We go out, we pick up the phone, we give them a call. We walk up to their door, we knock, we start those conversations. But you can do and create outbound sales opportunities through social media. And this is one of the things, again, through today's session, I'm hoping you'll start to see. It's not just about writing nice blogs and taking selfies, which it is. It's using those to start conversations. Let me give you a quick example to bring it to life. So about 4 or 5 years ago, in the early stages of my social selling journey, I was trying to sell to an IT company. 100 staff, decent turnover. I knew they would be a ripe prospect company. I knew they would be a really good potential customer. I tried cold calling every day. I sent emails. I left voicemails. Couldn't get past the gatekeeper. Left so many messages. They kept promising me that they'd call me back the next day. They never did. Sent loads of emails. I could not get through to the decision maker. Now, after a few weeks of these attempts, I wrote a blog. And by chance, not the IT director who I was trying to reach, a salesperson within that company clicked like. They didn't send me a message. It wasn't the IT director that I was trying to reach that clicked like. It was a salesperson. And what I saw was an opportunity to start a conversation. So I sent that salesperson a message. Now that message wasn't the sort of spammy sales type, oh, hi, thanks for clicking like on my blog. I'm trying to reach your IT director. Could you connect me? I didn't jump in like a lot of salespeople do as a reaction. I just talked to them. And the message was quite simple. I just said, hi, thanks for clicking like on my blog. What are your thoughts on the subject? And we had a conversation. And it went back 3 or 4 messages. It's a maximum of 10 minutes of my time, where I then earned the opportunity to say, do you know what, it's funny, I've been trying to reach your IT director for a few weeks now. Really think we can help them with the product we sell here. Is there any chance you might be able to help introduce me? Which they were more than happy to do, because I'd earned credibility in the blog I wrote. I had built rapport by having a conversation with them, not just trying to sell to them. They introduced me. They got me the phone call. I was able to turn that phone call into a meeting and turn that meeting into a sale. And that all came from writing a blog. Maybe I would have got through to them on the phone after several more weeks, months, maybe not. But I spent half an hour writing a blog. I spent 10 minutes talking to a different person in the company, and I got through my prospect. That's what modern day selling is about, using these tools to start conversations. Now, I write blogs all the time. As I showed you earlier, I've written well over 235 blogs over the years. A lot of those blogs generate me good inbound opportunities. People read the blog, they send me a message, Dan, loved your blog, I would like to talk about what you sell. Great, I get a hot lead right on my lap. Who doesn't love a hot lead? What I also do is look at the engagement, and I use that to start conversations. One of the first things I want to really start off with today is your personal brands. Everyone here, if you have a sales team, all of your sales rep, everyone in your businesses has a personal brand now. We no longer just work for a company. Some sessions I got to watch yesterday emphasize this point, but people buy from people. And as a salesperson, as a business, You are just as important as the product. And on social media, people will be writing posts. I am looking for a new yacht charter company. Can anyone help? I know because I've done this, not so much for a yacht charter. I do this for various other things. So I was looking for a room in London to deliver training. And I will write a post on LinkedIn, looking for a room to deliver some training in London. Can anyone help? Now, one of two things is going to happen for you when that happens. If someone's writing and they're looking for what it is you sell, one of two things will happen. You won't see it because you haven't connected with that person. So they're not on your social media feed. You won't see that post come up. The core message of that one being, grow your network every single day. The other thing that's going to happen is you won't get tagged in it. So when someone does a post like this, can anyone recommend a LinkedIn course workshop? I get tagged in. And when someone says, I'm looking for a yacht charter company, you want to be tagged in. You want them to say, oh yes, I'd highly recommend Dan Disney. He worked for this company, we bought from him before, and he delivered a great service. Not only is that a super hot lead, it's backed up by a recommendation. It doesn't get much better than that. But it doesn't always go well. There's a little story I want to share with you where this sort of really comes to life. I did some training with a company in the UK last year. And a week before I was due to deliver training to their sales team, this was an apprenticeship company, a training company in the UK, someone in my audience posted on LinkedIn, I'm looking for a training company. So I tagged in the director of that company, who I knew, who I was about to deliver training to their team the week after, and said, highly recommend this company, they're brilliant. A week goes by, I drive up to deliver training, we sit down in the morning, and I bring this up. And I say to the director, did you see I tagged you in that post? Someone was really interested in what you sell. And they said, no, I haven't been on LinkedIn in the last week. Now, obviously, that in itself is a message of being active on a regular basis. I said, oh, okay. But then one of the sales reps put their hand up. And they said, I saw that, so I connected with the prospect, and I sent them a message. And I said, wow, that's great. We haven't even done the training, and you're proactively going out and seeking opportunities. Thumbs up. I said, okay, it's been a week since you connected and sent that message. What happened next? And they said, oh, I'm just waiting for them to reply. I went, you're waiting for them to reply. It's been a week and you're waiting for them to reply. This is what happened. When someone posts a post like that, over 100 salespeople will comment on it. Over 100 salespeople will message that prospect trying to sell to them. The chances of getting a reply is pretty low. And I sort of caught Dragon's talk yesterday, the Sadler methodology, the sort of sending proposals out, this sort of ease of salespeople to just send out loads of information and then they sit back and they wait for replies. They wait for people to come back to them. And that's not what selling's about. My reaction to that sales rep was, why haven't you given them a call? You've got the perfect opening to a call. An easy get through to the gatekeeper. Why haven't you sent them an email? Why didn't you walk up to their building and knock on their door? Hi, John, just got out of a meeting around the corner, saw that LinkedIn post you shared the other day where you were looking for the product. I know you would have been inundated with messages from salespeople, but I was in the neighborhood, thought if you've got 5 minutes, I'd love to explain what it is we do to see if it's something we can help with. Use all the tools. Yes, that customer was on social media, but they're going to get flooded. Pick up the phone. It's about using them together. Looking at personal brands, because each of you, your teams, your businesses, everyone is responsible for their personal brand. And I want to give you quick examples of successful personal brands that I've seen over the years. So this is a guy called Jay Jensen. He is a used car salesman from America. Not someone you would usually see on LinkedIn or the social media scene, but he popped up about 2 years ago and he just started sharing stories. Simple little stories of his career. And he boomed because the stories were valuable. They were entertaining. They were relatable. And he grew a huge audience. I mean, look at the engagement. 2,000 likes. He gained so many opportunities just by sharing little stories like this. And I'm going to share with you the secret formula to kind of creating a personal brand on minimal time. Steve Birkin is a guy who's from the UK, a good friend of mine. He runs a lead generation company in London. He built up a huge personal brand and something really turbocharged it, and there's an important message in this one. He did an experiment. So I showed you earlier, there's a big debate between cold calling and traditional selling and social selling. The cold callers think it's stupid to use social media. The social media people think the phone is dead, and it gets very heated. So Steve did an experiment, and he got one of his sales reps to make 100 cold calls across a month every day, and he got that same sales rep to send 100 LinkedIn in-mails every day as well. So a direct competition. Who was going to win, cold calling or social selling? No surprise, he got 16 appointments via cold calling and 0 appointments generated from LinkedIn in-mails. And obviously all the cold callers jumped in, yeah, cold calling's king, it's the phone, social's rubbish, it doesn't work. My sort of sub-message to that is sending spammy, salesy LinkedIn in-mails is not a representation of what social selling really is. But nonetheless, it did very well. A few weeks later, he posted a second post, a follow-up post, where he highlighted that the activity of sending 100 spammy LinkedIn in-mails every day didn't generate anything. But his post did. That post that he shared with the results generated over 450,000 views, 1,500 likes, 500 comments, and generated him 6 meetings. Now, I know Steve very well. All 6 of those meetings converted into well-paid customers. He was invited to guest on podcasts, speak at events, had a huge increase in his social network, and his personal brand blew up. Everyone wanted to hear from him because he gave a lot of value. It wasn't the spammy selling that got him the opportunities. It was the giving value and insights. It's something I call autopilot. You see this in its prime when you ask someone to sell you a pen. The old Wolf of Wall Street style activity. You go to someone, you say, sell me this pen. And 99% of people will start listing all of the features and benefits of that pen. Oh, it's the best pen in the world. It writes in gold. It prints money. It shoots lasers. It will make your wishes come true. It's the best pen ever. And that's the autopilot that salespeople go into. They feel like they need to convince people that they have to have the product. But that's not what selling is. And when people go into autopilot on social media, they just try and sell. They send the spammy LinkedIn messages. What works is where you give value. You share content of value. And that's what will help you build a personal brand. Mike Winnett came out of nowhere about a year and a half ago. He's now the UK's #1 demotivational speaker. He's doing some amazing things for anyone that does follow him or looks to follow him. His humor, I don't know how he gets away with half of the stuff he writes, but it's funny, and he entertains. And he's built a huge personal brand and business simply off of sharing little posts like that. That takes no more than 5 minutes to write. Pretty sure everyone here could find 5 minutes a day to share content like that, and you'd be surprised at what the results would be. Last example I want to give you is a guy called Dale Dupree. One of the best examples, I think, of a personal brand in sales working well. Dale Dupree's a copier salesman in America. He sells printers. There is not a lot that's glamorous about printers. You guys are selling like yacht booking systems and charter. You guys have got exciting products. He sells printers. That's pretty dull. So what he did was he brought it to life. He rebranded himself as the copier warrior. He had a sword and everything. And he created amazing content around it. And he became the top salesman in the whole Florida region through using social media. And again, sharing simple content just like that. It doesn't take a lot of time, and it has a huge impact. So I'm going to give you some top tips, and then I'm going to give you the secret formula to creating some big impact. If you want to grow a personal brand, you need to show people you. So you need to have your personal tone, share your stories. I'm delivering another session at 3 o'clock today. It's Social Media Bootcamp. So it's totally different to this, where I'm going to talk through some of the key parts of all of social media and using it properly, including content. Content's a huge part of your personal brand. You need to add your personal tone. You need to share content ideally once a day, at the very least maybe 2 or 3 times a week. But I'm going to show you again how simple that is. Let people see you. People buy from people. Show them you as an individual. Show them you as a person. Build trust through the content you share. Open the doors to your world. Share your stories, your knowledge, your experiences. That's what people want to see, so they can get to know you. Because we all know, if I come up to you and I start to try and sell to you, that trust wall is going to go straight up. And you're going to resist me because I'm trying to sell you something. You don't want to be sold something. No one wants to be sold to. But everyone needs to buy stuff. And the best way you break down that trust barrier is to show them that you're a human being. You're not just in it for their money. You actually want to help them. You're not trying to sell a product, you're trying to solve their problems. Consistency is massively key. Unfortunately, a few of those examples I shared you earlier had huge successes, but then have lost a lot of that success by missing out on consistency. Jay Jensen did about 2 years of solid content and personal brand growth, but then he dropped off the radar for a couple of months. And now he struggles to get the engagement again. Steve Burton, exactly the same. He had a child, good reason, but because he took a lot of time away, people no longer bought into his personal brand. You need to be consistent. That doesn't mean you have to live on social media. My entire business and world is based on social media. I'm not on it all day, every day. There are tools you can use to automate it. Be seen in your industry. You've got the perfect opportunity today. You're at an event, an industry-relevant event. Every one of you should be posting about it on social media. Take a picture of you with the exhibitors, with the speakers, with people you know, with your peers, your colleagues, the organizers. There are so many great photo opportunities. Show your audience that you are there at the forefront of your industry. You are immersed in it. And you are going to provide that value back to them. And engage in industry-relevant content regularly. There'll be lots of people and businesses and news channels posting content about your industry. Be there. Be at the forefront. So this is the secret formula. And 15 minutes a day, huge, huge potential results that will come from it. 3 simple activities. Number 1, grow your network. Remember what I said about the personal brand? The one thing that you'll be missing out on is if you're not connected to the person, you're not going to see those posts. So every day, add new connections. Between 10 and 20 new connections on whichever social media networks your prospects sit on, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Add new connections. Word of warning, don't go extreme. Once you start to add more than 50 or 100, chances are you'll get blocked by the social network. I know, I've been blocked many times as someone who got a bit overexcited. If you add too many in one go, they'll look at you as a spam robot and they'll block you. Usually it's temporary, maybe 2 weeks long, but as a salesperson or a business, 2 weeks without being able to prospect is pretty damaging. So keep it minimal, 10 to 20, 30 max, you'll be all right. But every day, again, that shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes. It's not a big time-consuming task. But if you added 20 a day, that's 100 a week. That's a lot over a period of time. I started with 0 connections and followers. It took me a long time to get to 55,000, but a big chunk of that came from adding people every day. Number 2 is share and create content. 5 minutes a day. Those posts that I showed you, that's 5-minute jobs. Provide value. 5 minutes a day, create content. 80% of the content you share should be valuable to your audience. Not about your product, not about your latest offers, not about the new testimonial that's just come in, but stories that are valuable to them. Pictures that are entertaining, articles that are insightful, knowledge, tips, trends, content of value. Again, 5 minutes a day. I know a guy who's a very successful sales trainer in the UK. He literally just spends 5 minutes a day sharing a post. And he gets tons of opportunities. Every day at 8 o'clock in the morning, he shares a story. And he generates so much business from it. And that's all he does. He doesn't do the other bits. He just creates content 5 minutes a day. And he's generating lots of inbound opportunities just from that. The last one is engage online. So not only are you growing your network, not only are you creating content, but every day, comment on people's content. Comment on industry-relevant content. So every day, your name is appearing all over social media. It's out there because you're giving out content. It's out there because you're engaging in industry-relevant content. And it's out there because you're growing your network. 15 minutes a day. That's the minimum. You could do more. I'm not saying all you have to spend. If you want to put half an hour, double the efforts. Do it in the morning, do it at lunch. Maybe add another 15 minutes, do it at the end of the day. But at a base level, just those 15 minutes in the morning can have a huge, huge impact on your businesses. So let's look at bringing LinkedIn, social media, messaging, and phone calls together. Let's look at how we can kind of combine them to get the best possible results. First place we'll start off with, and kind of similar to the story I shared about the 100 LinkedIn emails sent a day. A lot of salespeople will be out there prospecting, they'll find their clients, they'll connect. Oh, the client's accepted, brilliant, I'm going to jump straight in with a sales pitch. No one wants that. No one wants to be sold to. Need to give value. Let me give you some examples of messages I've had on social media that perhaps aren't very effective. The first one is the too long copy and paste email message. I've had to split this into 3 sections to fit it on the slide. This was one long message that came in my LinkedIn inbox. Very clearly has been copied and pasted from an email, put into LinkedIn and sent. Copy, paste, send. Copy, paste, send. Copy, paste, send. Literally, let's throw as much stuff at the wall, see if any of it sticks. Chances are nothing will. That is way too long for a social media message. Social media is kind of similar to text, short and sweet. You can't put emails into it. You can't have long, massive conversations in it. So that is way too long. On the other end of the spectrum, I get this. Hi. I don't text my friends hi on its own. They'd reply saying, what are you up to? What are you doing? Hi, how are you? I mean, it's too conversational, too short and sweet, a bit too chatty. I don't know either of those people, by the way. Maybe even more conversational. All right, Dan, you all right? Hi, I would like some sales tips. Sure you would. Too chatty, too conversational. One of the other common ones is the use of online calendars. And this is a dangerous one. Anyone who either doesn't use them yet or wasn't aware, there are online calendars where people can book. You send a link to your calendar and people can book appointments with you. Amazing platforms, amazing tools in sales. What unfortunately a lot of salespeople do, flipping on autopilot, is they send these messages. And it's what I call the modern day used car salesman in the digital world, where it'll say, hi Dan, my name's Chris. I work for this yacht charter company. We provide this. Here is a link to my calendar so you can book a meeting with me. And it just makes you seem overly arrogant and kind of makes you seem more important than the prospect, which is never the case. These tools are great when you've kind of got to that stage of the conversation, but to just spam out loads of links to your calendar and hope that people are going to book appointments with you is a little bit presumptuous and not how it works in sales. Most of those messages go straight in the bin. They get deleted. They don't generate replies. Let me give you some examples of good messages that you can send, because LinkedIn is an amazing tool. Social media is an amazing tool. I told you I've got a sale through Instagram. I've got customers on Facebook, customers on Twitter, customers using WhatsApp. Text messaging, social media messaging is a very powerful tool, but it's about using it right. So let me give you some top tips and then some example templates that you can take away. It's an instant message. It's not an email. It needs to be short and sweet, but professional. You're not texting your friends or your family, you're texting customers, so it's short but professional. Best way to use it is to start a conversation. It is really difficult to give loads of information through an instant message or a social media message. So use it to open the door, and then if you qualify them and they're interested, ask them, great, I'd love to send you some more information. What's the best email address to send it to? Not a proposal, for anyone that saw Dragon's thing yesterday. Or, what's the best phone number? I'd love to give you a call and discuss it in a bit more detail. What's your Skype address? We'll have a video chat. Are you free next week to meet for a coffee? Let's discuss it in more detail. Use it to start the conversation to then bring it into the real world. Over the last 7 years of using social media, 99.9% of the time, this works best to book a phone call, send an email, book a meeting. On one occasion for me personally, over the last 7 years, has anyone turned around when I've said, what's the best email address or what's the phone number? Only one person has turned around and say, no, pitch me here. Having shown you some of those templates, it's really hard to pitch a solution through an instant message. It takes quite a long time to pitch properly. I did my best effort to pitch him within LinkedIn Messenger, didn't get a reply for about 3 days. I thought, not letting this go, not going to lose this. So I sent a very short, again, more instant message style response. And I said, hi, John, look, here's a customer we worked with last month. They spent X. They achieved a return on investment of Y. If it's something you're interested in, I'd love to discuss it further. To which he finally replied very quickly, yes, we're interested. Here's my phone number. Some people are resistant. Most are happy to go offline. Make it engaging. Try and give value. Have real conversations. Make sure it's personal, not just generic. Doesn't work to copy and paste. Talk to them. The more information you can provide about them in your messages, the better. Show that you've looked at their profile. Show that you know their company. Show that you've been on their website. Show them that you're talking to them and not just trying to talk to everyone. Hi, John, just saw on your website that you won this award. Congratulations. That's amazing. I would love to talk to you about X. Show that you want to talk to them. Keep them short and sweet and always think, would you reply to those messages? I think a lot of salespeople, when we're making calls and sending emails, we don't think about whether we would respond to them. We're just doing what we're told or what autopilot tells us to do. Think about whether you would respond to that as a customer. So here are some templates that I've sort of tried and tested over the years that worked. If they shared something on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, it is an amazing opportunity to start a conversation. First of all, like and comment on the post. Don't just send them a message referencing it and then having not engaged in it. Engage in it first. Then pop them a message. Hi, Michael. Really enjoyed your LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, insert social media post today. The 3 points about industry changes were absolutely spot on. Kind regards, Dan. As someone who creates content, and for anyone who's posted content, how nice is it when someone clicks like? That feels amazing. When someone comments, oh, that's amazing. If someone then sends you a message complimenting your content, that feels amazing. And if you can do that to your prospects, what a better way to start a conversation and start a relationship. Give that value. There are more sales-toned messages that you can send. The key is having a good bait. Hi, Michael. I work for a company called X, who are one of the leading providers of Y. If I can ever help, please let me know. Kind regards, Dan. Being honest, this message isn't going to get you many replies straight away. This is the needle in the haystack type message where if they're looking for what it is you sell right now, you'll get a reply. But that's a small percentage in reality. But this is the seed planting message. And you'd be amazed how many replies you'll get after 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, sometimes even longer. I've had someone after 2 years reply to one of these messages when it's right for them to buy because you plant the seed. You tell them what it is you do and who you are and where you are when they're ready, and you back it up by building a personal brand and giving value consistently on social media. The last one, the second to last one. Hi, Michael. This is a really good one, by the way. This is a very different route into a customer. Hi, Michael. I'm going to publish a blog next week on the top insights from leading CMOs, decision makers in your industry. I'd love to include your insights if possible. Would you be able to spare a few minutes to answer a couple of short questions? Most decision makers would look at that and be like, oh, wow, I'm going to be included in a blog. Great. Feeds that ego that a lot of decision makers and leaders have. This works in so many ways because not only are you likely to get a response because they want to be a part of your article, who wouldn't want to be a part of an article? You're starting a great conversation. You're going to ask them some questions that you're going to gain amazing information that will help you sell. So not only are you starting the conversation, you're getting amazing information. Even better, you're going to create a really good article because you're going to get all this amazing insights. That's going to create a great blog. So you're going to create this amazing blog that you'll be able to sell from. You're going to start several key conversations with decision makers and get information on them, and you can progress those conversations. It's a win-win-win-win, ultimate win strategy. For senior decision makers, this one works really well. Last one I'll share with you, and again, a very more direct type messaging, which works well when you know and can create the best possible bait. So this is, if you're going to go out fishing, this is making sure your bait is as juicy as possible to attract the fish. This doesn't work with the sort of spray and pray mentality. So this is, I've blocked this out because this is a real message that I've used in the past. Hi, I think your company could generate high traffic and leads by working with the Daily Sales, which is my company. We have over 160,000 sales professionals and leaders in our network, and I've had great success working with similar companies. Let me know if you'd ever like to grab a coffee. The bait to them is the audience. For any company looking to sell to salespeople, I'm sitting there with 160,000 of them. Most companies want to reach that. That's the bait. I did this with a recruitment company. Their catchline was, we help companies save up to 80% of their recruitment costs. For a lot of companies spending thousands, if not tens of thousands on recruitment, the chance of saving 80% is massive. That's the bait. So if you can find or create the bait in your business and your product, those sort of messages work well, but it needs to be juicy. This isn't one of those, oh, hi, this is what we do. This is, here is a real good reason why you should talk to us. So you've got to love these images. They bring it to life. How do you warm up your cold calls with social? Because cold calls can be super cold. I mean, I've worked in companies where someone literally comes up and says, right, here's the phone book, call everyone in it. And you're there looking at, I don't know, you're selling a yacht charter company and you're phoning a nursery school round the corner. Not going to convert very well. Cold calls can be very cold, and social media is a great way to warm them up and increase your conversion, make it more relevant, make it more qualified. So here are some sort of top tips on how you can do that. Number one, use it to research. We are social beings. The amount of information that sits on your prospects' social media profiles and pages is amazing. I went into a prospect meeting recently, and the prospect knew so much about me, which shouldn't scare me because I'm the one posting that content. But that's the reality. We're posting so much stuff. They knew where I'd been, what I'd done. And, that's not even me using it on them. That's them using it on me, and I'm trying to sell them something. Someone said, you went fishing with your kids. Oh, yeah. How did you know? Oh, yeah, I posted it on social media. They know these things. It's like in traditional selling, before social media, you'd go into the office of your prospect, you'd walk in, you'd be looking around. Oh yeah, I can see pictures of their family, right, that's the sports team they support. Oh, he's got some books on marketing, he's interested in marketing, and you use that information in the conversation. Now you do it through social media. You look through their profile, research, you look in their feed. What are they talking about? What are they interested in? And you use that when you talk to them. Makes it more relevant, shows effort. One word of warning with this one. I went into a sales meeting a few years back with a sales rep of mine. The day before, we did research. We looked on their profiles, their feed. We got loads of information. We were prepared for this meeting. So we sat down. I was there to support. The sales rep was leading this meeting. Sat down with the prospect. Sales rep gets open their book. They say, right, so we were stalking you on social media last night. I was like, stalking? No, that's not the word you use. You're not stalking, you're researching. I think we use stalking a bit when we use social media personally. Not a good word to use in sales. If you say you're stalking someone, it's very salesy. It's all the autopilot kicking in again. Use the research word. Research shows you are interested in trying to help them. Not stalking. Number two, connect with prospects that you're cold calling. A lot of sales reps are making 100, 200 cold calls a day. Connect with every one of them. A large percentage, what's the average? Well, strong average, 10% conversion on cold calls. 90 people of that list just going away. Imagine if you connected with all of them, you might reach 10 of them via the phone, you might reach another 10 or 20 via social media. Connect with everyone. Some of them are going to be more responsive on LinkedIn. I met a managing director of a factory, again, multi-million-pound turnover, and he openly admitted he never, ever, ever answers cold calls. His wife is the gatekeeper. She's under strict instruction to never let a salesperson get through to him. But, he confessed, every day between 6 and 8 in the morning and 6 and 8 in the evening, he sits on LinkedIn. He replies to messages, and he talks to salespeople through it because that's his preference. So connect with the people that you're trying to sell. Go back through your previous people that you've tried to reach and try it through, again, different social media networks. Look at where they're active. Are they active on Facebook? Are they active on LinkedIn? Are they active on Twitter? Are they active on Instagram? Use LinkedIn and other social media networks to gain the names of decision makers to help you get past the gatekeeper. So when you phone up and the gatekeeper answers, say, I'm looking to speak to the IT director. Do you have a name? No, then you can't speak to them. Use LinkedIn and social media to get names. Oh, hi, is John there? Oh, yep, sure, I'll put you through. Be surprised how many times that works. Not just for research, but to get names. If they respond via social media first, use it to start the conversation. It's really hard to have full conversations on LinkedIn or any social media network. Use it to ask them some questions, get qualification done, and when it's ready, arrange a phone call, arrange a warm phone call. This is what I do, this is what I've done for years. Great, it would be great to discuss this over the phone. Any chance we could arrange a phone call for next week? Arrange a video chat. Build your personal brands. This is one of the easiest, simplest ways to generate leads and increase your chances of converting them. As a salesperson, I know either the first phone call you have or the first conversation you have with a prospect, for most people, will be, "Hi, I'm Dan, I work for this company, this is what we do, blah, blah, blah." And I'm trying to earn their trust. I'm trying to break down those barriers. And it takes 5-10 minutes every time. When you build a personal brand, that flips around. And I'll walk into meetings now with prospects, and they are the first ones speaking, and the first things they say to me are, "Dan, I loved that blog you shared last week. Amazing insights, totally agree with those points. I've already earned credibility, I've already built trust, and I can dive straight into having a proper conversation with them because we're level." As salespeople, we're not there trying to beg for the mercy of the prospects. Speak to them like human beings. Don't be so desperate for their business. You should want it, but don't need it desperately. Be on their level. One of the best ways to do that is to build a personal brand. Again, 15 minutes a day minimum. Share content, grow your network. Reference content that they've shared or created. Talk about what they're interested in. "John, I saw you shared that blog last week about this. That was amazing." "Oh, wow, you took the effort to go and look. You're going to talk about something that is clearly of interest to me." That's a huge impact. So when you pick up the phone, "Oh, hi, John, it's Dan calling from the Daily Sales. Just quickly, loved that blog you shared last week." What a great way to open the conversation. Flattery, compliment, talking about something that they're keen to talk about. Now, the last tip, and this is we're talking about social media as quite a new thing in sales. This is the next frontier of selling. Video messages. I can imagine there's a lot of people here. Hands up, has anyone created, posted, or sent a video of themselves on social media? One hand. It's pretty consistent with every time I ask that question. Trust me, I know video is scary. As someone who's pretty big on the social space, I remember the first time I recorded videos, I was in my car, holding my phone up, recording myself. Oh, there's nothing worse. But video is becoming such a big part of our lives. I worked with a company late last year. They were a demand generation company, mostly cold calling, emails, bit of social. They did a 3-month experiment sending video messages. And the video messages recorded an 8 times greater conversion than cold calls. On the phone, they hear your voice. In an email, they read your words. On social media, they get to see your profile. The next best thing to face-to-face interaction is video. And if you can send short little video messages where they get to see you, where you're looking at them in their eyes digitally, they get to see your energy and your passion, that's a powerful thing. Sending short video messages on LinkedIn is a up-and-coming opportunity that you can then back up. Send them a quick 30-second message. "Hi, John, it's just Dan here. Just had a quick look at your profile. I can see that you're the CMO of this company. I've been working with a few CMOs in similar businesses, helping them achieve X, Y, and Z. I'd love to have a chat in a bit more detail and see if it's something we might be able to help you achieve. Kind regards, Dan." Same principle as the messages that you would send physically, except you're doing it through video. Another growth area is audio messages. Now, I have to admit, this one I find a bit bizarre, but again, for personal preference reasons. I have one friend, to be fair, who sends me audio messages on Facebook. Which is like really bizarre. Why don't you just pick up the phone and call me or send me a text or something? But some people like to do it, record a little short audio message and they send it across. You can do that on LinkedIn and obviously Facebook. And some people like it. I've seen some salespeople report amazing results from little audio messages. It works. Key message. Don't ignore the phone. Don't be scared of the phone. Makes you money. If you've got salespeople that are scared of the phone, make sure they realize there are a lot of people that are only ever going to buy from them if they pick up the phone and call them. If that's not enough of an incentive, maybe they shouldn't be in sales. As a salesperson, if you're truly hungry to sell and reach customers, you will use any tool to get there. If you want to earn commission, if you want to earn money, you need to use all those tools. Some of them, you'll need this sticker on the phone. Other people might need this sticker on their laptop to encourage them to use social media. Remembering the core message, salespeople, your teams, whoever's working in sales, your job is to sell. Be proud of that. You're helping people. You're not just selling something. You're solving problems. Be proud of it. Be driven to help. Be smart and use all of the tools available to you. You don't have to choose. Don't just sit in your comfort zone. Learn new things. Adapt. Evolve. That's the only way salespeople are ever gonna survive. That's my session done. I've got a quick giveaway for everyone. I've got an ebook, digital ebook, 100 social selling tips that I like to give away. I'd love to give everyone a copy. All you need to do is give me a business card, pop me an email or a message. Those are my contact details. Got 5 minutes, hopefully, to answer some questions. So if anyone has a question, put your hand up and we'll get a microphone. Oh no. Oh, no questions. No questions. Okay, I'm going to be here all day. I have a little booth over there. Any questions, come and ask me. I'm happy to answer. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you across today. Thank you.